it's probably a moment for us not to stop, pressing or increasing the pressure, but more to think about, outside of, like the protest in town affecting businesses and, losing young people in the process. uh, the week when we managed to go to parliament, one of the things that we did so well was denying politicians the platforms. I remember that Sunday, like, no churches allowed politicians to be able to speak or say anything. I'm gonna summarize. So I think my urge is, as Kenyans, we probably need to, keep doing what we're doing, but um, add other things into this process. Maybe it's not every day on the streets. Maybe it's, like, we are not allowing them to have any platform, because politicians thrive when they see, they're able to command a crowd. And if we are able to deny them that, then I think our mission still remains to have Ruto outside of State House. And if that doesn't happen, maybe it's about time we start strategizing for what 2027 will look like. Let's make, this a campaign movement from now to 2027. And I believe by then he will have given up. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. And God bless Kenya. God bless everyone.
Miriam, let me jump in there. If you can see the vice grip Ruto has right now on the country, just because of a finance bill, which ametucheza, ambao sahi amepitisha appropriation bill. Parliament, I believe, will reconvene next week. He has held on and has spilled so much blood because of a finance bill. The strategy of waiting until 2027 can be very detrimental to us as a movement. How much more the presidency? How much blood will he spill to hold on to power? Food for thought, food for thought.
Thanks, Afro. And thanks, Marianne, for that. I think at this point, I wanted to hear what our learned friends have to say before we go to other speakers. Asanteni sana for just a second. Intentional, ma'am. You'll get your chance. But for now, let's have some camaraderie and just wait for our turn to speak. Keep retweeting the space. Keep pushing this to the people who need to hear this. We really do this for our comrades. Steve, how are you?
Thank you very much. I'm fine. How are you?
Niko salama, karibu sana.
Asante sana. And I want to salute all the patriots who are listening to this forum this evening, and those who managed to also join our colleagues in the street to protest against the excesses of the government. I think what I want to say mostly is to remind Kenyans is that it is our right to protest against the excesses of the government. And this constitution of ours, we gave it unto ourselves. It is not something that was forced onto us. It is us as Kenyans, through those who were able to vote on in 2010, we managed to deliberate and voted and adopted these documents to be our guiding principle when it comes to the laws of this country. So if you can remember those who are older enough that time in 2010, and I'm saying that because I know there were some of our siblings who were a bit younger, but now they have already turned 18. We can remember the whole world was praising Africa and Kenya in particular for the great constitutional dispensation that we have walked into. And why was that? Because the constitution was very progressive and promising when it comes to issues of human rights. And one of the things that even the structure and the pagination of the constitution was structured very differently, because we gave priority to human rights and issues of recognizing sovereignty of the people. The first chapters, it was a deliberate act. Before, the presidency was always among the first chapter, the issue of the executive. So we pushed the issue of power a bit far as a way of showing people that we must acknowledge the things that forms are going to be given priority when it comes to the rule of law in this country. And we have seen a political class which, unfortunately, most of them joined politics before the new constitutional dispensation, and most have not shifted their mind from that old constitutional dispensation and the Nyayo system of governance. That's why you find whenever we talk about Article 10 on the values of the kind of leaders we want, people with integrity, people who can be held accountable, people who uphold all those values we set out under all those principles of Article 10 of the Constitution. Most of these leaders don't even meet the threshold. You find someone with a serious corruption scandal is the one heading a particular ministry, someone with serious crimes, they have committed very serious crimes, and unfortunately even the head of state has been charged for crimes against humanity. So these are persons obviously who don't pass the test of Article 10. And I think it's so sad to say and to remind ourselves that even in the year 2010, the current president of Kenya, Dr. Ruto, was among the people who were fighting the constitution. So I don't know whether he never smelled the coffee that the constitution was passed, and that's why they have disregarding it. That's why a court of law in Malindi will sit and give an order that the police should stop using water cannons. The police should stop using live bullets and rubber bullets and tear gas canisters and those poisonous gases they have been spraying on people whenever they are protesting peacefully. But instead, no one is listening. The police are still misusing power under the command of our president. The kind of disappearances we are seeing and abductions and arrests are very arbitrary and in clear violation of our constitution. So when the president continues to do this kind of action, it makes us remember that he never even supported the constitution, and therefore the trust to even uphold the rule of law it has really dwindled. Even that small part that we had that he may adhere to the rule of law, we have lost it, kabisa. And the other issue that you can also pick out from the frustration of Kenyans from my observation is that the president must appreciate that when he was moving around reminding the youth and the mamambogas and everybody that is going to create opportunity for us and opportunity for everyone, he was speaking to us about our economic and socio-economic justice and economic rights. And that is, our constitution is very clear on that, Article 43. But do we have a proper functioning educational system? No. Our students able even to afford education even at the tertiary level. We have seen even the school fees at the university and colleges has gone so high. Capitation money is never released on time for a high school, and therefore even managing these schools is becoming untenable. We look at the health sector, there's serious problems when it comes even procurement of vaccines and procurement of medication. You have to go to a hospital, then you're sent to a clinic to buy these medications. We have the insurance, which is not serving the members, and even was declared unconstitutional, the new system they were trying to introduce. So clearly showing that we have had a crook of people in leadership who do not appreciate the kind of country that we desire to have and the kind of country Kenyans desire to have when they pass the 2010 constitution. And I think it's time anybody intending to run in government or to manage our affairs, we must become firm and hold them accountable. And we could not sit back and watch this thing happen. And they have been using fear as a tactic to try and intimidate most of us, if not all of us, to step away from protesting and making people think that when you protest, you're going to be killed. When you protest, you're going to be maimed. When you protest, your property is going to be looted. And that is serious violations of our liberties, because this country should be a constitutional country where people can protest peacefully. If you can remember how this protest started on 18th of June, when we started the protest, people were protesting and other people are still doing business because there was safety and security that those who are protesting are doing their own thing, those who are doing business are doing their own thing. But along the way, government, through their goons, infiltrated the protest and were trying to incite those members of the public who were not participating in the protest to start fighting the protest, and also using that opportunity to steal and rob from Kenyans. That's why you could see a place like Nairobi today was totally deserted. Why? Because one group, they are protesters, who are not feeling safe. Some of them wanted to get out in large numbers, but they're not feeling safe in the hands of the police. The other group is those who don't intend to protest, cannot be able to access town because they are fearing the government will not provide security to them. So we have a failed system, and I think it's time they all wake up and realize that it is time either the president put things in place, or he get out of that office and allow people who can manage affairs of this country in a progressive manner take over. But over and above that, I want to request each and every one of you, as we protest across the country, we remember that our rights comes with the responsibilities, and we should not fall into the trap of being confused with the goons which they have hired, so that they can justify the excessive use of force. And because that has been the tactic for a long time, and we need to be a bit careful with that and not to fall into that trap, but also continue to be vigilant and share the recommendations and proposals that we feel can make our country better. Because also, if we don't discuss these issues and share our thoughts and our ideas on the kind of governorship we need, and we need to hold our leaders on from all categories, the president, the governors, the members of parliament, because that's especially the parliamentarians, another group of people who lost on the purpose of their job. These guys were elected. If you look at even the laws and the kind of work we expect to see them doing in parliament to oversight the executive, they don't even do anything. They're talking about CDF. And if you ask someone who is the best member of parliament, they know. The first question will be, how many roads have the member of parliament built? How many schools have they built through the CDF? But when you go back to their job description, are they doing the job that we send them to do? Are they oversighting the government and holding these people accountable? Is the Senate holding the governors accountable for the misappropriation of funds that we are witnessing? So it is time people do a factory reset and do their job, and we start holding them seriously accountable. And we must check not just the president, but check the governors, check the senators, check the members of parliament, check the members of the county assembly, because we cannot allow this country to go the way it is, because we're headed to the dogs if we don't take care of this. And those who are in government joined the government when they were young, obviously to secure their own interest and the interest of their time as youth and their future as old people as they are today. So we, the young people of today who have decided to forge a different page for our country, it is our business to be more vigilant when it comes to respect of our constitution and the rule of law at all levels and by all stakeholders, so that we can secure a better space for ourselves and for our future and our children. When everybody can have a right to access to school, access to a good health, access to good roads, are able to access to your home, safety and security, and you know that your rights will not be violated by the people who have the highest duty of safeguarding them. So I call upon